All right, welcome to Josh and Aaron Talk About Stuff. I'm Josh with my best buddy.
Aaron,
His name is
still.
Aaron.
Nah,
Maybe I'll change the intro one day, but I like it.
I like it. It's a good intro. It says what it needs to say.
Yeah, man. Because it's kind of like every episode is its own thing, man.
Right.
You know,
But
maybe one day we'll do
what stuff is it? It's just all the stuff.
right, all the stuff. Like the little old bastard right there. Don't know what he wants to do.
Right? All the stuff. All the stuff. I'm out of here.
Right. So, well, off camera, Aaron and I were discussing what should we talk about since he didn't do his homework and
I did do my homework, but I just couldn't. I was stumped
right, but
because, it's like we've been talking a lot about current events, and it's like the same current events. It's like there's only the news cycle is dominated by one thing and one thing only. I just froze.
you did?
I
I don't
thought I
think you
did.
did. No, I just stopped moving, I think.
Oh, I think I actually froze on my screen. So
I didn't know.
I'm having some computer issues today. So
That's fine.
yeah.
Is it the longest thing in the whole world waiting for a computer to reboot?
Good Lord.
Yeah, it's like it literally time stops when you're trying to reboot a computer, man. I'm sure we've all
It's
been
like
there.
the worst thing ever. Like your reboot, you're like, oh my gosh, are
You
you
were
gonna
literally
ever
just there.
start? I was like, oh my gosh. No, but the news cycle has been dominated by one thing and one thing only, and all things tied into that one thing. And so I was like, what are we gonna talk? I was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I'm tired of talking about it. We get it.
But that's the thing that was with the news. They latch onto something like a freaking pit bull, man.
So
you did freeze that time, I think.
right.
Come on, Aaron.
So
killing me, bro.
Sorry, man.
Go ahead.
Right? No, but and actually that brings me that kind of brings us to the topic that we were talking about before we started. But it also ties into what you just said, which is about the media. And I froze again. What the heck is going on with my computer today?
You're coming in loud and clear for me, no issues.
At least the volume is not. At least my sound.
No, you're not even freezing on my end. I see you.
Okay.
And everything. It's weird.
It's just my computer. Then it's acting stupid.
Should we stop and start over?
No, I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay.
We're rolling.
All right.
It's the beauties of the internet age.
Right.
But it's like this.
How about this? If you stop and I don't hear you, I'll let you know. Otherwise, keep going.
Just roll on like an ocean liner.
Yeah, let's keep going, bro.
Yeah. So, so what are we gonna talk about? The fact that it comes to what you just said about the media. Like they latch onto things and they hold on to it. Right. So the media has definitely generated for themselves a complete lack of trust on the part of many people, right? I mean, like there are a lot of no trust in the media. I'm not going to say that they don't have their reasons, because there are times where it's like you said, they latch onto things like a pit bull, and it's like there's got to be other things going on out there in the world. Why are you guys?
I believe I said bulldog, but
I believe you said. I thought you said pit bull.
Well, let's run it back. Where's our producer? Run it back.
Okay, run it back.
I'm kidding. A mean big dog with big jaws.
Big dog that doesn't want to let go of things.
Right.
But what that's inspired, though, is it's inspired this incredible, like, this world of conspiracies that people we find ourselves living in now. It's like, yes. I think the statement that I see more than any other statement when you're like is like somebody, like there'll be a news story and then you look at the comments about the news story and there's always this person. There's usually more than just one of this person. There's like lots of these people. There's got to be more to this story.
What aren't they telling us?
What aren't they telling us? We have become like a society that is driven by conspiracy. I mean, the biggest ones, obviously, going back to the last election. I don't even want to go into that, but obviously, we haven't we? Like, there's this. Why are we so like fixated on it?
Right. Oh, by the way, I have to say, because I'm letting you talk because I know I have a problem with just talking and not letting you get a word.
You get reprimanded.
I was critiqued. I wasn't reprimanded, but I don't do it to like cut you off. I want you to have 50% at least talking time. But sometimes
I'm like, first, it was your idea.
I know, but sometimes they're like, the only thing I would suggest is Aaron doesn't get a lot of words in sometimes. And I'm like, well, sometimes Aaron doesn't have a lot to say.
Right?
But sometimes I just
I
get
don't.
rolling and I can't help myself. But
I tend to be like by nature, I tend to be fairly succinct most of the time. Remember when I was in college, like my professors would critique my papers. They'd be like, "This is a really good paper, but you could have said a little more." I'm like, "Why? I said what I needed to
right,
say.
it's like you wrote your thesis in
I wrote
2,000
my
words
thesis.
rather than 5,000.
I You said you wanted 3 to 4 pages. I gave you 3, and I
Yeah.
said everything I needed to
If you
say.
wanted 4, you should have said 4.
If you wanted
Don't
exactly 4 pages, then you should
right.
have told me 4 pages.
Don't give
You,
me an in between, like 3
no,
to 4. Tell me what you want,
right?
and then I'll do it. Right.
You
Anyway,
tell me 5 to 7, you're getting 5, and that's
the
after I adjust
minimum,
the and that's
yes.
after I adjust the font.
Right. Give me all these requirements: 12-point font, Times New Roman, single
Right?
spaced. Like
Yeah,
anyway,
you want it. You better ask for it, because otherwise I'm gonna play with it. So that brings us back to the fact that, I sometimes just don't have as much to say
right,
as my dear friend Josh. But in this situation, what in the world? Like, why? I think the media is in part to blame.
right. Well, I'm
Um,
thinking like so. I'm trying to think like macro level here. Like, why would people be so susceptible to not trusting the government and conspiracies? Is it because as we grow up, we're taught
yeah,
the government is good, these ideals, and then when they're questioned, we think like our whole world comes crumbling down, right?
right.
So
Yeah,
then it's like, why would they lie to us? What aren't they telling us? But I mean, like, here's the thing that I've listened to my dad for so many years now, and growing up and living in the real world and being, I'm not old, but I'm not young anymore. I'm gonna be 40 next month,
what?
folks.
Oh my God.
The government lies. And it's done it since the founding fathers, folks. So take them
Yeah,
off a pedestal too.
yeah,
But it's like it's got to be like it's almost like there's a need that is not being fulfilled in their life. Kind of like we're both teachers. Like when a child lashes out, it's not really your fault, but they're going through something in their life and they don't have a release, and you see them every day. So why not dump it all on you?
yeah.
It's like a conspiracy theory. Like I don't know. Let's go simple. Like the moon landing. There are people that believe that the moon landing is
It didn't
has
happen.
faked because the dust, the moon dust would do different because they do research, Aaron.
Research,
They have their own personal
research.
vacuum sealer things where you can go in and suck all the air out and like do experiments. They do research, right?
I read it on Facebook.
But it's like one of those Cold War things. Like we got to beat the Russians at all costs, so we'll fake even them out. Do you think as many spies as the Russians had that they wouldn't have figured out it was fake by this point? Because
Right.
guess what? Somebody always leaves a memo lying around somewhere. I'm sorry,
And you
that
know
makes me
what?
laugh. There's always one guy that
It's
forgot
like,
to shred the paper.
did you get rid of the memo? Oh.
Oops, so
Oh.
I don't know, like moon landing, it happened, right?
And
Or
if it
or
had,
it's the biggest dupe of all time with
yeah,
all of
absolutely.
humanity of the earth, right?
Right. But the thing of it is that we come back to the point that like people want to what's your proof? Well, there's all these different articles, and here's this article, and those are all done by the mainstream media, and
Right.
those are all done by prominent government scientists. So they're in on it, and they can't be trusted either. It's like it's I think it also comes from fear, right? A fear of being fooled. As the Who said, I won't
Won't
get
get
fooled
fooled again,
again,
baby. Yeah. Meet
right?
the new boss, same as the old boss.
Not going to get fooled again. And I think there's also that fear is such a real part of like our
I don't want to
culture.
be lied to. I don't want to be
I don't
tricked.
I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be tricked, and I don't want to be fooled. If I don't trust you, then you didn't get me.
Right, because it's almost like being embarrassed is like one of the worst emotions you can experience.
Right.
Like that being made a fool and being embarrassed. It's like it's almost like, well, I think I've explained it. Sometimes I like to explain too much. You know what it's like to be embarrassed. Nobody
Right.
likes it, and so you don't want that feeling.
Right. And if you got duped, you'd be embarrassed.
Right. But it's like I lost my train of thought. But conspiracy theories that'll help me get back. Like, why do they do it? It's I don't know. Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, if we go back to the election, right? If we go back to the election, if we go back to the whole QAnon, the conspiracy, it also it provides people like something to believe in. I think it's that something something to believe in that they can harness into like their bigger attitudes, right? Their bigger attitudes, their bigger ideals. And
Yeah.
it also gives an excuse, like it comes back to that embarrassment, like I didn't get fooled. You didn't fool
You
me.
didn't fool me, baby. It's like, well, how about this to the conspiracy theorists out there? How do you know that your parents are your parents? What if they actually show you the birth certificate? Are you going to believe that? You know, it's one of those things like,
Could have forged it.
like, there, it's just, it's, I don't know. It's one, I think it's like a new fad that everyone likes to jump on the train. Like, oh yeah, like, come on, guys. Or like Hillary Clinton and the Democrats running a child pornography out of a
that's true, though.
Pizza Hut. Oh, it is. Yeah,
That's true.
I did research, man.
I read it on. I
That
read
reminds
it.
me
I
of
did
like,
research
so
on
doing the
Instagram
research
and
thing.
Twitter.
Someone was like, so you're just gonna take the CDC's word for it, blah blah blah, and the response was yes, 100%, yes.
Yeah.
What research could you do that could outdo government-funded
CDC.
scientists? Blah blah. You know, like now, the CDC has been a little wishy-washy, and but I don't think their science is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I don't think so either. But I do
that's
think,
different. The messaging is different than the actual studying of the stuff.
right. I do think though that the sort of the wishy-washiness that
Right. That's where people are. Oh, see.
and admittedly they do hurt their own message. And
Right.
I've thought that every time, and here's the thing, people need to realize, we're kind of a little off topic, but not really. I mean, people need to, no, I mean, not really.
Hey, we're talking, man. We're allowed to go on tangents.
Stuff.
We've told people that.
Stuff. No, but the thing of it is with the CDC is like, their guidance changes, but their guidance changes because their understanding changes, because this is like an ever evolving
Science
situation.
changes.
Yeah, like our understanding of things changes, and since things changes, then the understanding changes, which means the guidance changes. It's like, hey, we know we said this, but we've done some more research, done a little more studying, and realized that when we said this,
but you said 3 months ago it was this.
Right, but we
things
understand
changed.
differently
Well, you lied
now.
to us then.
Yeah,
you know,
right. You lied to us. I can't believe you now.
Isn't that like a failing of the education system though, when it comes to science? Like apparently we didn't teach people that viruses can change and mutate, and like just because you get sick with a virus, not all viruses do you remain immune from for the rest of your life.
Right.
Right? Like
I had the chicken pox. I can get no sickness ever again.
Yeah, guess what, folks? It's still in you. It's going to turn into shingles. You're so stressed out and freaking out about conspiracy, it's going to pop up.
Right, I know. Right,
but they do have a vaccine, I think, for chickenpox now. They didn't when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I got it.
No, they do now, and that's one of the things they ask you is like, did you have it? Like when you take your kids in now, like, hey, did you have the chicken pox?
Right.
And if you did, they're like, okay, you don't need the vaccine.
Right, because that one you don't get again.
Right.
Right.
As long as you get like a decent, as long as you get like a decent case of it, you don't get it again.
Right, but that's not the case with every virus.
No, not at all.
And apparently, it's not the case. It's not going to be the case with this coronavirus, because I mean, the flu. There's
different strains,
they change constantly, but it's still the flu at the core. It's still an influenza virus.
Right.
But it's changed slightly, and so we have to get ourselves a software update.
And nobody ever questions that.
You know? Yeah, no one ever cares.
I like that.
Well, that's what it is. It's basically a software update. Our immune system is basically a computer system with our brain, and
yeah, here we're gonna do. Here comes your new update. Thank you.
Right. But like, yeah, people have got to get off the. Like everyone knew physics could no go farther when Isaac Newton was doing his stuff.
Right.
Right. And then it changes, and then we're like, anyway, so science changes, and we can't. And you want science to change. You want people to constantly learn and review, because that helps us, right? Like,
and our worldview also changes, and that's the thing of it. And I think that back to the idea of the conspiracies, it's just like I do think it's just people are. There's a fear of putting your trust in anything. I don't want to put my trust in something, because that means I'm opening myself up to
trusting,
being wrong, being deceived.
But
so,
like, I mean, some conspiracies are kind of like, man, I just can't believe that actually happened. Like the JFK assassination. There's no way one dude did all that.
No,
I
absolutely.
watched the movie, man. I watched the Oliver Stone movie, man.
It
That's
was
my
true.
research.
That's my research.
But like when they're
No, but
go ahead.
no, you're right. I mean, and there are some conspiracies out there that are probably things that there are rational things that we question, right? That's one of them. Like we look back at the JFK assassination. Are we ever going to know exactly what happened? Not likely. Is it very unlikely that it went exactly the way they're telling that the history books say? Yeah, it's pretty unlikely.
And like when the government hides behind the veil of national security, that right there tells you they're in the wrong.
Right.
And then people don't want to trust. So if you're open and honest, like if you implicate people, oh well, because guess what? The regular dudes like you and me, we commit a crime, we're going to jail. Right. There's no way out of it. But like these rich people that like we can't be implicated. See, that another thing we lose trust in.
Yeah.
Right? When not everybody has to follow the same rules. Right? So it's a constant struggle between the media. Just tell us the facts, man. I don't need your opinion. I think opinion shows are kind of like have kind of ruined news. I just want the
depth
facts.
of opinion on in the media in general is problematic. I mean, it's because there's so much opinion. It's like just facts.
Just tell me the facts, man, because that's how then I can determine. Because one thing is people I don't think actually want to critically think about situations.
Right.
But they turn to the talk show guys in the evening or girls and listen to them. And they're like, oh, yeah. I totally believe that. Oh, yeah. And then they start spreading. Yeah. It's like a hearsay crap that but then you go looking. If you go looking for wickedness, you'll find it everywhere.
Absolutely. And that's and the beauty of the internet now is like we've said before, like everybody's got a voice, right? Everybody has a voice. And so like I did my research on what? On Facebook. I did my research. Where did you get your information from? Reddit. I got my information on Reddit.
Right.
Look, there's a purpose for those things, right? There's a purpose for things like Facebook and purpose for things like Reddit and whatnot. The purpose of those things, though, is not the accurate dissemination of ideas.
Right. When you say that you did research and come to me with end notes of academic journals, and .com websites, then I'll be like, okay, you may have something here, but Facebook is not research. We go into Wikipedia is not research. I'll go there just to give me like a background information because I honestly like there's errors with everything. But like it's just as accurate as Encyclopedia Britannica,
right? Because
I'm sure they have watchdogs on it, but like, but it's not peer reviewed in that sense. Because if you have an account, I can change myself to the president of Venezuela if I wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, but for the most part, the information is accurate.
President of Venezuela,
right? Yeah, and so like another thing, I think when people feel that they're like, oh, I'm making a judgment call, but if they feel like they're being beat up by the government or business or just life in general, then they look for reasons outside of themselves rather than addressing something within you that you could change.
Or when
like the universe is against me, man, it's a conspiracy.
Yeah. Or when they don't like what they're seeing in the world and they don't feel like they can change it.
Right.
It's because.
But that's both ways though. Like they don't like the actual good things that we're doing for people because they have a certain belief. So then it's like, what about me? What about my turn? You know, one of those deals. And you know, did you ever see the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson and Patrick Stewart?
I feel like
Air's drawing a blank.
I know the movie. Did I see that like one time, like
like in the 90s,
decades ago, probably?
Right.
I might have like decades ago seen
everything is conspiracy in that one.
But you know, and here's the thing, and here's the other thing of it, and maybe this is part of it too. Conspiracy theories are kind of fun.
Yeah, until you're like up at 3 o'clock in the morning on super caffeinated coffee and Red Bull, thinking that Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and I think that's what it is though. They're kind of fun. It's kind of fun
Take
to
it with
look
a
at
grain
a
of salt. There could be
conspiracy.
a little truth in everything,
Right. It's kind of
right?
fun to look at a conspiracy theory. I mean, it's fun. It's fun. It's, you know, the JFK, the JFK has been, the theories have been around forever, right? Since the day it happened, people have been questioning that, and it had a kind of a resurgence, a heyday in the 90s. Wasn't it the 90s when Oliver Stone did that film? Yeah, the 90s when Oliver Stone did the film JFK.
Back into the left. Back into the left. When they keep showing the
Yeah, right, exactly. I mean,
right.
it's like it had that resurgence, and they're like, ooh, you know, and they're fun. They're fun and they draw you in, but the problem is that we let ourselves, some people let themselves get drawn so into them, though, that what is just sort of a, oh, that's an interesting idea, becomes, that's true.
Yeah, and then they take it farther and
Right.
take actions.
Yeah.
That hurt. Like, yeah, so the Democrats are out to kill everybody and drink their baby's blood. You know, that's one of them. It's like, come on, guys. Like, I mean, if that's how you really feel, and then I just, what are you gonna do about it? How about that? What are you gonna do? You know, I mean,
right.
like, come on, guys.
Time to bunker down if
and
that's the
like,
case.
is that something that we should look at as falling under the issue of mental health? Taking conspiracy theories so far that you either hurt yourself or others because
Right.
you believe to be true. So like,
I
hey,
think so.
if you have a friend who's like aluminum, you know, aluminum hat, tinfoil hat, whatever, and like always thinks they're out to get him, tell him two things: you're right, and then get him help.
Right.
Get him help. Like,
yeah.
But look, here's the thing. There probably is a cabal of individuals controlling the strings of the entire world. I was Aaron's like, it's time to go, bro. But see, I'm not researching it. But I don't know it's true. I don't know for a fact. I just know it's true.
Absolutely. And they're watching this show because they watch everything. Which means that if we disappear and there is no more Josh and Aaron after this episode, then you know we hit it on the net. We hit it right on the nail on the head.
They might come to me, man, and like tell me some things to say next time and start funding me. You've heard it. You know who Alex Jones is?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, you've already spit your Coke out. So on his show, I've looked up very few times. I've looked at some of the stuff he talked about, but like, there's this group called the Bilderberg Group.
Okay.
Which you could liken it to a cabal.
Okay.
But like, they wanted Obama to be president, right? And so he got to be president, and he's a conspiracy theorist nut, right? But then I'm like, well, why would you pick Obama and be two-term and then pick Trump? Like, what? How do you go from this guy to anyway? Picking Trump is not the point. It's just how do you go from polar opposites?
Right.
But, and I read this story one time by Clive Barker. I like him. It's one of my favorite authors. It's called Tower of Babel, I think is the name of the story. And it was this cabal that was controlling the strings of all the important events, you know. But I mean, something like that could be true, but it could also not be. But because like certain things, you're like, man, why did this country do that, or why did it do that? I mean, you could take that rabbit hole down deep,
long way,
deep, but
deep.
Do I believe there's a cabal out there? Could be. I know, but you know what? What am I going to do about it? You know,
right?
You expose them, you're end up. Joshua Kitchen died in a car accident, you know, Thursday night, you know, whatever. Like, but I don't know, man. Or like flat earthers. Why would scientists all come together to convince you that the Earth is round when it was really flat? You know,
we're on a flat Earth on the back of 4 elephants on the back of a giant.
Yeah, man. Terry Pratchett must have had a vision or an insight into the real deal, dude. But like, okay, everyone knows what a flat surface looks like, but like when you look, if you're out at the beach and you see a ship and it's going away from you and it starts to like lower
to dip,
because it's curved, man. Anyway, I I don't know. I think I'm sure there's some stuff out there that scientists lie about and whatever, but I think
No doubt.
like I'm sorry, I don't distrust Neil deGrasse Tyson. Sorry, I don't. And the cosmos and stuff, but like maybe that's how they get you, dude. They
Right?
put a nice guy on TV, man,
A
and he's
nice
really
guy, make him seem
smart.
all smart, and you're like, oh, I believe that guy.
Yeah, like, but you'll believe your friggin' third cousin
Who
who did
posted on Facebook?
like, come on, dude. It's like, look, now there are ways to do real research. Well, I won't say real research, but there are ways to like actually inform yourself. One, watch multiple
Yeah.
news organizations, read multiple newspapers,
Mhm.
go to organizations that aren't .com,
Right.
and then form your opinion. But conspiracy theories, man, they'll get you.
Every time.
Like I said, you look for wickedness, and
find it.
you'll find it everywhere you turn. You'll find it in your own home. You know,
Absolutely.
but
I'm
all
sure my
right.
kid's a lizard person.
Oh yeah, like what's that show? V? Was that the show?
V.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
He's a lizard.
but
I know
all
that.
the like those shows like Outer Limits or what's the super
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, man. They'll get you. There's a
They
really good
tap into
like
those fears.
right.
That's what they tap into.
It's on purpose.
Yeah.
Right when they do this, and then you're like, like X-Files, man. Or
I think in the end, it's human nature to be paranoid. It's human nature not to
well,
believe.
here's a big conspiracy theory, like Area 51, man.
No.
And aliens. I personally believe. Well, I think aliens are real. Don't know if they've ever been here. I think if they did come here, like I like ancient aliens. If aliens did come here, it came a long time ago, and we just happened to miss it.
Yeah.
But Navy pilots and all that stuff is coming out about they're seeing stuff that is unidentified.
Yeah.
And it ain't American, and it probably isn't Russian or Chinese.
So what the heck is it?
Right. But see, like, why would a government want to lie about UFOs in the first place if they're real? What are we gonna do if we find out that they're real?
What are they? What are they afraid people
Murder
are
each
gonna
other,
do?
kill each other,
Lose
freak
their
out? Like,
minds? Yeah.
why would we do that?
Yeah.
The religious people would freak out because I don't know. But what was the other one that I was thinking of? Conspiracy theories. I don't know. The other thing I wanted to like mention really quick. I saw it on the news before I came here. So a couple years ago, I think there's this documentary of this woman who created this company. It's not, I can't remember the name of it. Sounds like Theramore, maybe something like that. But it like she claimed that she could take some of your blood and run these tests that her and her company invented, and they could determine if you had any diseases in your body at the moment to help you. Basically, they it's for to get in front of if you have cancer, right, or diabetes, like
Sure.
getting it before it gets bad so you can correct it. Well, apparently, all the data and tests that they provided over the years have all been a lie, and none of it was true. So now she's going to federal court over this stuff, and I'm like, well, what? And it's like why do people want to do stuff like that, like fake data? I'm assumingly. Oh, and she was like the first woman billionaire, I think.
That's why right there you get it.
Money. Right?
Money.
So is money the root of all evil, or the
medicine is big money, man? And yes, money is the root of all evil. I mean, it truly is.
Yeah.
And medicine's huge money. Money.
That's all you got to say about it.
That's all I got to say about that.
It's just like, why do people like why do computer hackers want to steal people's information? Like, what happened in your life?
Yeah.
That makes you want to do that, hurt other people. You know, I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Well,
people are rotten to the core is what it comes down to.
Well, humans suck. That's the problem.
That's really what it comes down to.
Human rotten to the core. That's
people
you're
are
rotten. That's like a old school
rotten to the
kind
core
of thing to say. Yeah, and you can't trust anybody. It's like, so in one of the lessons that we were taught in my class, we're talking about types of government, right? And one of the types of government is anarchy, but not everyone going nuts, but anarchy being described as a time before I guess what you would call a civilization.
Okay.
Right. So there was anarchy, so to speak, in like caveman days. Right. There's no
Right.
formal government.
There's no formal government.
We live kind of like how the animals did. I don't know
Right.
what my point is, why I'm talking about this. I totally lost my train of thought with anarchy. I got it now.
Ah,
People acting as individuals, like we don't live in a society.
Yeah.
There are people who are selfless and put themselves above others and whatever, but like most people, man, it's me, myself, and I, baby.
absolutely.
And I'm gonna do what I want.
Yep.
And that could be a cause to conspiracy theories because everything's out to get you. Mine. Like,
Yeah.
Don't touch my stuff. Get off my lawn, stuff like that. Yeah. So if you find yourselves awake in the middle of the night on Red
Heading down that
Bull,
rabbit hole.
seek help, man.
Turn
You know what?
around.
And everything's out to get you. What are you gonna do about it? Right? We're all gonna get got somehow.
So we all gonna get got. Something's gonna get us.
Right, man. It's crazy. But anything else to say today, Aaron?
I don't think so.
I think this turned into a kind of funny episode
I
because
think so. It kind of rambling and weird, and I kind of like it.
Make sure you get vaccinated, guys. And wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
Because I'm tired of being held hostage.
Right.
I kind of want to go out a little bit, not so much, but just a little bit. I don't want to risk it right now. Oh, and there's a new variant that's been found in every state.
Right. I read that.
And I think what I researched, quote unquote, was that it might be bypassing your antibodies, meaning it's just saying,
well, that's just fancy.
I think that's what I read. Now, don't quote me on it, folks, and then say I lied about it because I'm not. But see, that's why we wanted to get most people vaccinated as quick as we could, so it didn't mutate again and
mutate become this thing that it is.
Make the vaccine null and void. Anyway.
Now we all gotta get it again.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'm done. I think
you're done.
You never did. Oh, yeah, I think you answered. I asked Aaron a question the other day, guys. Who's better, Pearl Jam or Foo Fighters? And it's you did. His brain probably went, I cannot compute. Does not go. How do I pick? He picked Pearl Jam, guys. He picked. I think I did too.
I think so.
But Foo Fighters is right near him.
Right there.
Not far behind.
No, not far.
If at all.
I had to go with Pearl Jam in the long run on that one.
Yeah. And we're gonna talk about music all the time. And I'm
Just
going to
always
talk about Pearl Jam every episode. Why not, right?
Probably, right?
Until the new Smashing Pumpkins come out, and then
then we'll talk about that instead.
We'll talk about that. I think we're good. Get back. Yeah. All right, Aaron's done.
No, Aaron was yawning.
Because I just saw all of a sudden I saw this.
Yeah, no.
And
Aaron was yawning.
But okay, cool. So good talk, man. And see, here's the thing though. Aaron kind of picked, but he didn't pick today because I screwed up last week and picked for him. But we both wanted to pick the same thing, and I didn't know it. So Aaron will get to pick again next week.
And I promise I'll do my homework.
That's why I gift to him. Well, I'm sure nothing's gonna change in the news. It's all gonna be shitty, and it's gonna be the same crap. We're gonna talk about Afghanistan again. We're gonna talk about vaccines again, and football starts tomorrow.
That's true.
For all the sports guys that have been going nuts waiting for it to happen. And it's the Cowboys and the Bucks, so I guess the Bucks are going to
win. Yeah, they're going to win.
Right.
Hey, out of luck.
Real quick.
Shoot.
I haven't really read the article, but there's is it a college or a high school out there that was being shady and employing men?
Oh yeah, Bishop
Tell me about that. Explain that to me really quick.
So I don't understand it well enough to explain it right now. Maybe we can talk about that next week.
Tell me about it next week because
it's a shady but what it is the high school sports in general. Maybe this is what we'll talk about next week. High school sports in general have gotten really shady, and this is just sort of like.
Okay, tell me about it next week. That'll be a topic and. Something else maybe.
And something else.
All right, man. Have a good. See you guys later. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.